Hello and welcome to North by North Westminster. Tonight, the appointed House of Lords looks set to strike down the elected government's highly controversial measures on tax credits. So this evening, the bastions of liberal thought and action are a load of meritocrats and cronies and people who glory in names like the Lord Ponsonby of Shule Breed, Life Peer, Labour. But what are the constitutional ramifications, and are the Lords walking into a trap that even Admiral Akbar would be wary of? I was joined by Tristan Rogers and Joe Mills to discuss this, and Joe wanted to know how we could be in this situation in the first place.
What I don't understand is how it can pass 3 times and then the Lords can suddenly vote it down. Can you explain that?
Okay, so you've hit on an important point there, in that, as I'm sure everybody's aware, that the general convention is that the Lords is a revising chamber, and there's something called the Salisbury Convention, which basically says the Lords does not have the right to reject pieces of legislation or financial measures that have the backing of the House of Commons and were in the governing party's manifesto.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? It very much is not in their manifesto.
So, within the Lords, there is an argument that it has been...
They've got every right.
Yeah, that they can do that.
But it's still going to go through eventually, though, isn't it?
Well, not as it stands, but this is the thing, is that Jacob Rees-Mogg, the MP for the 19th century, the man who has the voice which is the same sound as when you blow air into an empty bottle.
I've often mistaken him for a vacuous bottle.
Well, let's just listen to his explanation of the problem and indeed his proposed solution.
Mr. Speaker, does my right honourable friend share my concern that if the other place were to vote against working tax credits, this would be a serious challenge to the privilege of this House, a privilege codified as long ago as 1678? And does he further share my concern that this would then entitle him to review the decisions of Gray and Asquith in relation to creating more peers to ensure the government can get its financial business through?
And whilst I'm on the subject, given that it's the 600th anniversary of the Battle of Agincourt, does the Prime Minister think that we haven't fully explored the Salic line and Her Majesty's rightful claim to the French throne?
What I don't understand is, how are they allowed to just create lords to pass a law? Why haven't they done this before? With other measures? Why haven't they just kind of decided that, we want to pass this law, let's just create more lords so that we can push it through?
The thing about it is, if this vote goes through tonight, then supposedly David Cameron is going to go to the Queen and ask to create about 200 more Tory peers. And I think the Queen would have to do it. But this then leads on to the suspicion that actually this has been George Osborne's plan all along, and that he is introducing a massively unpopular, destructive, practically indefensible in and of itself measure, which was always going to run into trouble in the Lords. The idea is that George has put this in so that the Lords will vote against it, so that the government can then go, this is outrageous, and say we need 200 more Conservative peers to get a Conservative majority in the House of Lords so that we can pass our financial measures through, so that they thereby avoid all of the Lords' defeats which they would get on particular measures and particular bills. I think that the Queen has to do it, but it could well be the Queen's prerogative. She may well be able to say, no, Mr. Cameron, I'm not doing it.
If she had to make a decision, don't you think this might be the thing that kills her? She's never had to do it before.
So shocked that she has to actually do a duty.
Her head might explode.
Well, her duty is normally to make no decision at all. I wonder how she makes decisions. I have filled 2 bowls for my Corgis. One is labelled create more peers, the other one is tell Mr. Cameron to sod off. Tell Mr. Cameron to sod off. And
Good. We would hate you to fail in your impression.
And the Corgis shall eat from the bowls, and according to their number, I shall make that decision. That's how I do it.
That sounds flawed. I mean, usually the only decision she has to make is which Corgis to feed. She does in a very similar way, except she fills one bowl with food and another with nails.
Well, one lives, one survives.
It's a dog-eat-dog world.
Oh, no, please, no.
Please, Jack, no.
Sorry, I was actually going to do a thing about Darwinian competition, but I screwed it. I screwed that pooch!
Oh, no.
Yes, sorry for that final glut of puns. Thank you very much for listening. Please follow us on @N Westminster, and there will be more clips from the upcoming podcast arriving in the coming hours and days.